Hey guys, I am Husky Crypto and today we will take a look around Bitcoin and see where we stand at this moment. Now this is what I want to talk about, that major buy signal. There are a lot of buy signals, but this one, just like all the previous ones, show you how significant it is and also what's coming up. So this is according to this person, it's called a super trend. I don't know what's measuring, but it looks pretty accurate. So first cycle, after we went from sell to buy, Bitcoin went up 99, 100%, almost 10,000%. And then it happened in 2016, 2017, then Bitcoin went up 3,681%. It happened in 2020, then Bitcoin went up 828%. And guess what? On a monthly scale, it just flashed by once again. So this time around, and keep in mind, this is flashing at $45,000. This is not flashing at like $16,000. Okay, because if we did just like an 8x from $16,000, we're barely at like $100,000. No, this is flashing at $45,000. So even if we went out, let's say, I don't know, 5x, 6x, that would put us between 225,000 calls and $300,000. That's what a lot of people are going to keep a thing. But who knows? Because of the ITF and supply shocks, maybe we have another HX, right? That would put us around 300 if at the exend. Who's to say that we have to diminish the percentage every single cycle? Maybe this time we get 1000%. We don't stop at 800%, we go to 1000%. And who's to say we can't have 3600% this cycle? That would be kinda crazy if we did, but you never know. With institutional formal this time around, that never happened in any cycle before. I mean, we never had ETFs, and we certainly didn't have as many institutions talking about Bitcoin. This cycle is very different than previous cycles, so if they're all formaling and all the other funds are formaling, who knows? Who knows where the top is, right? But what I do know is this. We do have a lot of metrics like this. They are flashing buy, and more buy, right? So this is what I rely on, the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Anchi metrics. I think these are a lot more macro views of Bitcoin, right? TA is more like a micro view where it's shorter term, but man, if you put everything else that I've been talking about together, there's no way you cannot be bullish on Bitcoin. But this person is arguing that Bitcoin right now is basically 2 months behind the S&P 500, who just broke through their previous high. If you look at this pattern right now going all the way back to September 2022, it does look identical. It does look identical, other than Bitcoin is 2 months behind. Okay, so if this is the case, if Bitcoin is trailing the S&P, that means in 2 months, and that happens to be the halving event too, that Bitcoin will be at all-time high. We're talking about $69,000, right? I mean, that's really uncanny if you look at how similar the two paths have been. But we know there's so many good things happening, right? In 2 months, we have the halving event also. That's enormously big. And we still have the ETF soaking up all the circulating Bitcoin, and Fed rate cut will be around the corner too. That's why it's not unreasonable to think that by mid of this year that we will have breached that all-time high and have gone even further. I think that can certainly be possible. Here's something else that's very interesting from Peter Brand. Now, this guy supposedly is a famous charter that's been trading for decades, like 3 decades. He goes on and off about Bitcoin periodically. Sometimes he's pretty accurate, and sometimes he just turns bearish and disappears and stops time about Bitcoin. But I got to give him this credit. So back in 2021, when Bitcoin was starting to get hotter, this was January of 2021, he tweeted out something that he tweeted before in 2018. Okay, so we're going back years on these. So in 2021, he tweeted out something in 2018 that he came up with the BHLD pattern, which is bump, hump, lump, and then dump. And he showed this, and you could see how Bitcoin on its way up, I think that's Bitcoin, has been forming the same pattern over and over and over and over again. Okay, so he called it in 2018. In 2021, he started calling it again. And now in 2024, he's calling it again, because that's exactly what happened. That 49,000 was our pump. Our fall to 35,000 was that dump, and now we're getting ready for the next leg up. So you gotta get an incredible credit for that. He's been right since 2018 about this. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to keep on doing this and then keep on going up and build up along this parabolic rise. So again, that looks pretty good, looks pretty accurate. Look at who bought more Bitcoin. Yes, Michael Saylor, he bought 850 more Bitcoins, about $37 million. And MicroStrategy now holds 190,000 Bitcoin. That's a lot. That's a lot. And to put things in a perspective, this is charting his purchases from the very first one, which was a huge one back in Q3 2020, and then it's been going up and up and up and up and up. You could see in Q4 he made an enormous buy. Okay. And then the recent one is a little bit smaller, right? So as of right now, total cost $5.93 billion. Average cost $31,224. So obviously, Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy is in the green by the billions. So Michael Saylor is not done buying. He will continue to keep on buying. And same thing with the institutions, guys. I've been talking about institutions. I mean, MicroStrategy is not quite an institution. It's a public trade company, but there are a lot of other institutions. And public trade companies and private companies, there are a buying by the bolo like this. We just don't hear about it. And here's another telling thing. Okay, only 5.3% of Bitcoin is on the exchanges, lowest level since December of 2017. It's hard to see this, but that supply keeps on going down and down and down and down. A lot of you guys keep complaining. Well, these guys keep on buying OTC. Nothing's going to ever happen, right? And I've been telling you guys, the OTC market is not infinite. It's not like the Federal Reserve. You can't just print more Bitcoin and just sell it to these big boys. What happens when there's not enough? They have to take it out of the whole pot, right? So if you go to Coinbase and they don't have any OTC, what's going to happen? They'll take it out of the pot from the spot market. That's how it works. Or they go to the miners. They have to go somewhere. But eventually it's going to try out. There's only so many. You can't just create more. And there's still very little that being produced every day. And it's going to get halved in approximately 2 months.